Hi there, welcome to my channel. This is the original condition of my lawn, which as you can see has been quite overgrown, and I wasn't getting to grips with it. So I invested in one of these Cleva lawnmowers, which are a robot lawnmower. Not a lot of money, I actually spent £299 I believe, and this is what I got. And this is actually now 3 or 4 weeks after the initial cut. The initial cut was, it just absolutely left it terribly strewn with grass blades. But as you can see now, there's all the dead grass is gone, and we're left with this nicer, much greener lawn. It's not perfect as yet, but it's only 3 to 4 weeks in, and also to mention it's actually at the tail end of summer as well. So we're actually into autumn, let's be realistic, we're into autumn. It's been a great summer, but this is... I should have done this a lot earlier. I should have made my decision a lot earlier. What I did was I procrastinated, and this is what I ended up with. Look at the 3 pots at the end. Now, the 3 pots are there because here you can see it. It's trying to work out where the end of the lawn is. And those 3 pots there stop the machine driving off onto the road. Now, it's never actually done it. It looks like it threatens to do it, but it's never done it. But I like to be a little bit safer. Normally, my car is parked there. But today it's not there, and the car would of course stop it from going under the car. But you can see the way it moves, just randomly mows a bit, and then it goes off at a different angle. Not the most efficient way to actually do things, but it works. Now, with these robot lawnmowers, a lot of them have GPS, where it sends a signal and reads up the GPS, just like you have GPS in a car, and it draws a periphery. I'm not too sure how accurate this is, drawing a periphery, because GPS accuracy can be quite variable depending on the day. But as you can see, it comes up right up to the wall. It reads it, it goes right to the edge, and comes back, backs up, comes through. But look at the periphery here. This is where the edge of the lawn is. You can see it doesn't cut up all the way to the end. It does in some areas, but it doesn't in other areas. I'm not too sure why that is. But it is what it is. So what Cleva recommend, along with other robot mowers, is that you still need to go around the periphery with some sort of like trimmer, which is great in this particular case. Gonna have to do it anyway in order to sharpen the borders. So you are going to need a trimmer with this. Now, Cleva actually do one, which is about 60, I think it's about £70 without the battery, and you won't need another battery because this Cleva lawnmower comes with the battery and battery charger, which is sufficient to keep this robot running for about 4 hours flat. 4 hours of uninterrupted, you're not watching this machine, you just let it go and let it do its job. You're probably wondering, well, what would happen if somebody steals it? It all depends on the neighborhood, I would imagine. But over here in this neighborhood, no one's going to really go off walking with it. If you need to watch it, put a camera on it, or if you really just put your deck chair out, sit there in the garden, let the thing do its job. So what did I use before? Well, I was using a Suffolk Punch, which is a petrol mower, very powerful. It's a 10-blade cylinder motor mower. So the 10 blades gave this grass a bowling green finish 10 years ago. Since then, kids have came along, and I've just not had the time, as you can see, to actually look after and maintain the grass. This thing looks as if it's going to give me a break. Why do I say that? Well, if you look at the edge of the grass, which was before, you see there was a lot of weeds in it. Now, the weeds had just basically taken over the remainder of this lawn. The fine grasses which were there before have been replaced with rough, coarse grass seedlings, simply because I was in that halfway house of not being able to maintain the bowling green look anymore. So I had to go in for a mix of ryegrass and a mix of ryegrass and the old fine blades of like luxury lawn. So it was a compromise. That was a compromise because I didn't have time to actually look after the grass, and in reality I didn't have time at all. So 7 weeks of an all cutting left the grass looking like that. And when you come a little bit, I think it's about the 5-minute mark, you'll see the condition of the pavement as well. It was just a bit of a mess with lots of weeds growing around it. So why did I buy this unit? Well, because I needed time and I needed to do this either way. But trying to cut it with cylinder mower when it's 7 inches long is a no-no. You really need a hover. But this particular unit runs like a hover. It's got a completely different system, cutting system. But you can see it's going right to the periphery in this area. But sometimes it scalps the periphery if it drops down. In this case, the grass drops down, and you can see it's not going to the edge there. And as I said earlier on, that is why you need an edger or a line trimmer just to go through this. My ideal situation would be having a little tiny cylinder mower just to go over it, maybe a 6-inch one. They don't actually have one, but that would be my ideal situation. Look at the grass now, and you're going to compare this in a few minutes. You'll see what the grass looked like when it originally started. This is after 4 weeks of using the Lawnmaster from Cleva. Now, that's a unit there. You can see it's got big chunky wheels there that grip in, and in the back there you can see the Lawnmaster back panel, which contains the little orange thing is like a safety blade. It's almost like a safety feature. You pull that out when you're going to work underneath it, and it disconnects the battery or any power supply. It's an extra little safety feature. And underneath that is the battery. The battery just stays in there. You get one battery with this, and you get a battery charger that comes with this unit as well. Now, the good thing about the battery, they can be used against other Cleva's motors, other Cleva grass agents as well. So we're going to turn it over, and as I said, there's a nice chunky wheels on it, as you can see. Really, that was the worst terrible turnover of a machine ever, because I completely did not show you the blades. But there's the battery underneath it, and there's a little pull-out safety circuit breaker in there. Okay, now hopefully, there you go. Hopefully I'm going to turn this thing back over and you'll get a look at the blades. But let me talk you through them. They're not cylinder, and they're not the single blade of the hovers. So you used to see 3 tiny blades, which are very, very small, but the same size as an old razor blade, safety razor, and they spin independently, really, really fast, and just basically cut through the grass. Again, as you can see, not very good description there, but you've got the stop button at the top. You've got a circular more function here, which you can see it just turns around in a circle. And this is the original grass that I had. This is the original cutting through the long grass that was there before. And so I'm just going around in a circle with this just now. So it's doing it a more methodical way as opposed to the random pattern it can do. And it's doing an okay job, but you know what? It's going to have to do a lot of this. And that's this battery, as I said, lasts a total of 4 hours. And it's interchangeable with the other batteries in the Cleva range as well. But this one's a good battery. I think it's a 4 milliamp hour battery, or 4 amp hour battery. I'll go 4 amp hour. And as you can see on the top of it, you've got a stop button, which basically stops it. And that big black dial there gives you the height adjustments. And I think it goes all the way down to 20 millimeters. We'll have a look at that a little bit later and see if that's true. And here it goes. It just goes off in some random pattern, hits a wall, and then backs off, and then it's off again, hits a wall, backs off, rotates round. So it will do this a few times. And when it's doing that, as you can see, it disconnects the blades. And then it's off again. And it will just rattle itself down when it finds a good place to go. And there it goes, off again, all the way to wherever it's going. Okay. So the next thing you'll notice is that the grass is just basically cut to bits. This is the first cut. And it is cut off big chunks of grass. So that's about 7 inches tall. And it's just going to sit there. In this particular case, it's going to sit there. What I will need to do is I will need to go round this afterwards with a scarifier, which luckily I do have on my old lawnmower, and that will just pull up all this grass and debris and get rid of it all. Okay, that's a good picture of my leg there. Don't ask why, but there you go. So I'm just going to pause it here because it looks like I'm going to run out of battery power, and I did. So this is the next bit I'm going to talk about. So as you can see the grass is just basically long strands of grass in here. When you're cutting it regularly, I would recommend every 3 days, you're going to be shaving off maybe about 1 millimeter or 2 of grass blade. And now that means that the grass blade itself, because you're cutting less than a third of it away, is going to stay remarkably healthy. So I'm cutting it about 30 millimeters, but you might want to extend it a little bit high to 40 millimeters during the winter period, where the reduced light means that the grass needs more of its chlorophyll, more of its surface area to actually keep the the energy going to the roots. So in wintertime, I'm going to increase the length of the grass, but during the summertime, cutting it nice and low, so in order to weaken the weeds that tend to grow in between. Of course, you'll still have weeds in there, and between this initial phase and the first video, I popped some weed killer in there. I think after about 2 weeks of just cutting in, and that weed killer will last for 40 days. It might need a second coating 40 days later, but now you can see here I've set the grass blade to cut a little bit lower than it was in the first set of cutting, and you can see how it's just working its way through the edges. When you see the paving block, you'll notice that the weeds there are really, really long, and that's because I didn't have time to cut the grass, so therefore I didn't have time to cut the weeds of the paving. Now, interestingly enough, you'll notice in the initial part of the first video, the first 3 minutes of this video, that the weeds in the paving have decreased. Now that's because the time I'm saving by just getting this guy to cut through do the lawnmower for me, has meant I'm able to concentrate on the borders and the periphery and just tidying up the garden in general. So it's a godsend. Looking at the next thing, looking at the cost of replacing the blades, I think you can buy them for about £9. They just bolt on, and the new ones clip in fairly easy, just bolt on. Battery wise, as I said, you're not going to need a new battery. The thing lasts 5 hours, charges in 1 hour. It comes with a battery charger. That's a pretty well fast charge for a battery, unless you're going around in circles again, doing the like a spiral cut. And spiral cuts are great when you're doing the initial cut, when it's not been done. Otherwise, I just set it on random mow, and it just bounces off the walls until it completes it, or until the battery dies out. Usually I just leave it until the battery dies out, and I come back to a mower sitting in some awkward place. If the mower does get into trouble and it gets stuck somewhere, it will actually switch itself off after it's tried. A lot of safety features on this thing. One of them is when you start it off, it goes through, I think it's about a 15-second initiation cycle before you can actually select which type of mower you want to cut, random or spiral. And then you've got to press the start button. So the 15-second delay, which is there really to keep your fingers nice and safe. The machine will also cut itself off, cut the power off to the blades should it run into difficulties. Occasionally, I wouldn't count on that, but you can see that that's all that long grass cut. As I said, if I was using the reason why I don't want to use my cylinder more was because it just basically destroys it, and it just gets wrapped around the cylinder, and it doesn't cut very effectively. A hover mower would be the choice here, or just slicing through with line feeder. So you can see there a lot of this is just mulch now, and I had to use a scarifier to rake all this stuff up and bin it, because otherwise this would just sit in the grass and not provide a nice healthy environment for the new grass to come through. So you can see now it's just running across the periphery. As I said, sometimes it gets it right, and that's the periphery just getting cut, and other times it doesn't get it right. So let me talk about the warranty on this thing is 2 years. And what's likely to go wrong is blades are likely to blunten over time, and they do blunten over time, especially if you're doing this, these little tiny minor cuts and just running this machine like I am, because I'm enjoying it so much. It's very therapeutic. I thought I'd miss my lawnmower, but I actually do enjoy running this machine. The build construction of this is actually very good. It's very, very solid. I'm quite impressed with it. And the other thing is that it just works remarkably well. It's a solid machine. Anyway, listen, I've said enough about this. Just to recap, the link is in the to purchase this from Amazon is in my description. So please use the link, because I get a kicker every time you use that. As I said, the first pictures are off the grass towards the end of the completion, and this one is at the start when I first got it. But certainly you can see each cut is getting a little bit better as we go on. Listen, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully you'll subscribe and have a look at some other videos. Particularly if you've got a big family, look at the one of the Toyota Alpha and the Velfires, because those are fantastic. Look, there's the bin I put there to stop it from meandering out onto the road. Sometimes you need every help you can take. Everybody, take care, look after yourself, all the best.